Hi, my name is Taylor Darcy, and with Darcy Law, I'm a California licensed attorney that works with startups and small businesses to help them with their legal needs. Today, we're going to talk about why you should form a limited liability company. There are actually a lot of reasons. Uh, uh, the main reason why you want to form a limited liability company, or LLC, that's the more common name, is to limit, it's kind of in the name, limit your liability. What does that mean exactly? Okay. So, as I talked about in my sole proprietor video and DBA video, you have currently unlimited liability if you are not operating as an LLC. What does that mean? That means that any of your assets can be taken. That means that your wages can be garnished. That means that your house can have a lien placed on it if you have one. Your bank account can have a levy placed on it. That's what it means to have unlimited liability. And that's what you currently have if you do not have an LLC. Now, an LLC limits your liability to the amount of assets that are placed within the LLC. That means the assets have to be titled as the LLC ownership. So if you buy a car that's meant for business, if you title that car in your name, then the LLC doesn't have any sway over that. That means somebody could technically come and take your car or buy your car and sell it. Same thing goes for like anything else that is a bank account, for instance. That's a good one. If you have a bank account and it's in your personal name or a DBA name, they can come take that. But if you have an LLC and with a bank account, then the bank account that is in the LLC could be taken if there's a lawsuit, but your bank account that's outside of your um, that's outside the LLC could not be taken. Now there are some exceptions to this, and I'm not going to talk about that in this, but I'll give you a brief view. It's called piercing the corporate veil. And what it means is that they can come after your personal assets if you abuse an LLC. So if you have a home, if you have employees, if you do not want to be contractually liable for something, those are the reasons why you would want to form an LLC. So, because those are significant sources of liability. For instance, if you are sued and a judgment is rendered against you, as a person, your home can then have a lien placed on it, which means that judgment follows it until it's paid off, unless you're able to pay it off. Now, this actually happened to a client of mine where they got a judgment against them, and the lien stayed there until they went to go sell the home, and then they had to actually borrow money to get the lien off because they didn't have enough equity in the home, and now they're working on paying off that lien or that loan from that friend, and then they were able to sell the home after that. But that's what can happen if you don't have an LLC and you title your assets in the name of the LLC. So, for instance, if you have a lease, then it needs to be in the LLC's name, not in your personal name. And we'll talk more about this, but a lot of times, though, they'll require what's called a personal guarantee. And I always recommend avoiding those. So the other reason is if you are hiring employees, so you have somebody come working for you, doesn't matter what capacity, you are liable for their actions. Now, there are, again, some exceptions, and we won't go into those right now, but if someone does something while they're working for you, then you're liable. And what that means is that now all of a sudden you're getting a judgment against you for somebody else's actions, and your home and all of these other things are happening to you that you could have avoided through an LLC. The other reason is if you don't want to be what's called contractually liable, if you want the corporation to be contractually liable. And so that just means that if you don't want to have to worry about performing under the contract, then you want the LLC to do it. And that avoids the liability as well. So these are all wise of reasons why you would want to have an LLC. Another really great reason to have an LLC is that your able to divest yourself from the company fairly easily. You can sell your interest in the company and walk away. You can actually make a profit on it, right? As I talked about in sole proprietor video, you can't really do that to yourself. It's not really possible to sell a portion of yourself. And so, but as an LLC, you can actually sell a portion. So if you needed to bring on a partner, you could sell 10% of your company to that person and they would get 10% of the profits. An LLC also has the added benefit, and I'll talk much more about this in corporate video later, but it also has the added benefit of what's called pass-through taxation. So you have the same benefit as a sole proprietor as you do as an LLC, which means your taxes aren't double taxed. And again, I'll talk about that in the corporate video, but that's just something to think about. Is a corporation typically gets double taxed. And again, I'm not going to go into tons of detail. You're going to have to check out a video on that before we go there. But for today's video, the whys are pretty substantial. An LLC is very easy to set up. In one of my next videos, I'm going to talk about how to set up an LLC. It's not complicated in the sense that there's all these people online that talk about, oh, you can just go to the Secretary of State and fill out your form and go from there. And for the most part, that's correct. But we'll talk more about that in the how. But today, the why is that it's easy. It provides some liability protection for you. And if something bad happens, then it's attached to the LLC and not to you as a person. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them there. I'd love to talk with you more about your business, how I can help you grow it. If you have any questions, I'm here for you. Subscribe, like, all that fun stuff. I'm on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, fill in the blank. Wherever you can find me, I'm here to help. I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.